still awkward. Anyway, hi. The lighting is so weird. I'm not sure why that is, but I'll just edit it. Anyway, hi. I'll make this quick because I will be leaving in a few minutes to the airport. I have a flight in 6 hours, but I had to go somewhere else. Today, we will be reviewing the books that I've read for the month of October and November, which are these two. I only finished 2 books. So the review for October was postponed to November. I forgot the reason why. Oh, because I've never actually finished anything in October. But that's so weird. I started reading this Public of Pirates. We spin the wheel this the other time. But I have to pause with reading this. I haven't reached the half mark yet. That's because I actually honestly do not have any time to read, and it sucks, I know, but it's just so weird to have so many hobbies and you can't fit everything in 24 hours. So anyway, yeah, I don't have enough time to read because sometimes I play games, sometimes I watch movies, sometimes I watch shows, sometimes I just sleep. I'm being very honest with y'all. I also lied. I said I won't be buying any books, but look at these. These are all new. Yeah. But first, let me explain the 2 books that I've read. The first, between these 2, I've finished The Handmaid's Tale first. This is by Margaret Atwood. This is the first Margaret Atwood book that I've read, and I started reading this because of the Hulu show. So this was already adopted to a TV show, and I like the TV show more because the book actually at this point, if you watch the show, the book has become a reference rather than just a complete adaptation, because this is actually just so short. In the series, it actually just covers the first season, so that's actually good for them. They had Margaret Atwood as the consultant for the show, so that's kind of cool, working with the author. A lot of people find this very, intimidating. I also thought that this was intimidating before I started reading this, but it actually is fun. Although it is kind of scary because it's the oppression that women are, experiencing in this is not far from the truth. So, what else? I have my few favorites here. I was actually kind of surprised because I was not expecting that. Because I started watching the show first before reading, because when I started the show, I was like, okay, I'll read the book so I'll know what happened, but it turns out that it's up to just first 2 seasons max of it, and most of the following seasons are original ideas, original stories. What are my favorites here? If you don't know the story of The Handmaid's Tale yet, it's about a dystopian world where women are basically just walking uteruses. They are used to make babies. What's the problem with that? Women do give birth, but in this, most of the commanders and their wives are in this book. The wives of the commanders are usually old, so past their birthing prime. So I don't want to use the word use, but it's the best that matches. They use fertile women to make babies. Kind of like a surrogate, but kind of also against their will. It's not 100% against their will because they don't have a choice. It's either they die by doing something else instead, or they live a comfortable life but be a baby bank. And the way, if you have no idea how, the way they make babies here, it's not ethical at all. So be warned if you are reading this, if you want to read this. Okay, it says in my note, it's page 237. What does it say? It's a club, I say. Well, that's what we call it amongst ourselves, the club. I thought this sort of thing was strictly forbidden, I say. Well, officially, he says. But everyone's human after all. I wait for him to elaborate on this, but he doesn't, so I say, what does that mean? It means you can't cheat nature. Nature demands variety for men. It's so disgusting. It stands to reason it's part of the procreational strategy, it's nature's plan. I don't say anything, so he goes on. Women know that instinctively. Why did they buy so many different clothes in the old days? To trick the men into thinking that they have several different women. A new one each day. So this is not a quote, like a quote, well, it is a quote from the book, but it's something that the character says, so it's not something that you should, take out of context. So basically, this line is just, this exchange is so creepy and disgusting because the one who says that women pretend to be different kinds of women in the old days before Gilead is to entertain men. And we know that's not true. It's just when I dress up, it's just to satisfy what I see in the mirror. But I've never really thought of how people would look at me or for the intention of someone else. So, as we all know, some people do think that women dress to impress usually men. So that's kind of weird. And that exchange made my blood boil so bad. And there's a lot of things that made me angry in this. From this, by this, fucking English. So, this is actually a good book to read if you, want to see a lot of different kinds of perspective on how women might be looked at, how women are treated, even though in a fictional point of view. It's just because it's fictional doesn't mean that it's not something that real women cannot relate to. It doesn't mean that it doesn't happen in the real world. This one is the book that I've read next, finished. I've been reading this since May, and there's a reason why it took me so long to finish. I actually was surprised that I started reading this back in May. It's a good book. Not for the first part, it says here, depression in the first person. That's what I expected. Depression in the perspective of the author. Solely. It's not. The first half, not even half, but maybe like first few chapters it is in the author's perspective, and then there comes some research and then other people's perspective, so it doesn't feel like it is in the first person. I I picked up this book because I thought that it's something that I can relate to. It is. I was clinically diagnosed with depression back in 2019. I don't know what I was expecting aside from the first person perspective, but I think that I wanted to see how other people think or how they treat themselves while they were depressed and what happened during those times or what were their experiences. But I was not expecting the author to interview a lot of people and then make it about them and then relate studies to it, because I didn't, if I wanted something scientific, I would have picked different kinds of scientific psychological journal. There's a lot in my alma mater's library that I can access, probably still. I wanted something, how do I put it into words? I wanted something like, although the science is not bad at all, it's just that I wanted a story that my heart can touch. Is that the right thing to say? It's just sometimes this feels out of touch. Where did I say that? This book is focused on American and Canadian accounts of depression, so it's totally different from us. Me, who is Southeast Asian, living in Southeast Asia, with different culture, different views on mental health. So sometimes it is kind of out of touch from my view. That's why I think that was what I was hoping for. So I wanted to see how depression and mental health is in other parts of the world without going too serious with the scienciness of it all. But maybe it's good that they've also included that, because not everyone's a psychology graduate, so I think that's a plus. But yeah, again, it's not something that I expected. What did I say? I posted it on my Bookstagram. Yeah, well, there you go. Yes, relate is the word. I wanted something that I can relate to by reading someone else's views and what happened during their peak depression season. That's what I said. Quite hard to grasp since this is American Canadian centered. Might be a little unrelatable at times for Asian folks like me. So yeah, I don't think I can consider it as a good book, but if you're looking for something to read about depression and some kind of studies, it's definitely better than this fucking thing. You might think, oh, it's just the same. Different colors, different years. No, this is a piece of fucking trash. I don't want to read that ever again. I don't know, let's go to the books that I bought. This is Eleanor, I can't pronounce it. Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. This was recommended by a friend. Well, not from work anymore because she doesn't work with us anymore. But she was from work. So she recommended this and was recommended by one of our friends to her. I think this is romance. So that's the reason why I bought it. It was recommended. I trust them with my whole heart. And this was also recommended by the same friend. It's by Margaret Atwood. That's the reason why she recommended that to me. She says that it is a good read. So why pass on a good read, right? And what else? Oh, my mom knows this book. I don't. And we watched that Brad Pitt movie where he's a lawyer. And like, was it Kevin Bacon who was the bad guy? And this was mentioned and she couldn't stop talking about it. So I bought the book so I can relate to it. What else? I bought Dracula. I've never read this at all. I have no idea what the story is about. Why did I buy this? It was on sale. It was just like 100. I don't know how. It's cheap. What else? Oh, I also bought Great Expectations. It's hardcover. It's from a library. Nothing here is new. Well, except for the Eleanor one. And I bought a real copy of The Robber Bride because the previous one I had seems like it's fake. So I don't want that on my shelf. That's it. I bought this. I'll link the Shopee that I bought this from. I've reviewed them. I reviewed them before. They're great. And anyway, I'm going somewhere else, and I bought the Hollow with me. And what else? Oh, Pig That Wants to Be Slaughtered. So hopefully I get to finish that. But yeah, and this one when I get back. So this will be edited because I want to finish the Hollow before I upload this. So I might sneak that, but if I don't, well then it's here. I failed reading that. But if I successfully finish it, then this will be cut somewhere, and then alright, I need to go now, or else I might get stuck in traffic or whatever. Thanks for watching. Bye!